In this part of Spain, we've seen some restrictions come back into play over the last week. Some towns have got a nighttime curfew in place again from 1 AM till 6 AM. Not in El Campello at the moment, but the towns that border it to the north and the south have, and a couple of the inland towns nearby have as well. So it is just limiting me for the next couple of weeks in terms of where I can go early morning. In fact, I'm probably going to end up being just in El Campello for the next couple of weeks. There are a lot of photography techniques that I've never really tried. And I thought I'd take the opportunity today to try one of them. And I'm going to play around with some ICM, or intentional camera movement. I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you do, and you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. A very quick disclaimer. Please don't take this video as being a tutorial on how to do ICM. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. You'll probably work that out for yourself when you watch the video. I'm just going to share the experience with you and whatever images I manage to get, and I'll try to give you some thoughts on whether those images have worked well or not, and any lessons that I've learned. Okay, so ICM is not something I've ever played around with before, and I thought what I'd do is try at least 2, maybe 3 different variations on it. And the first one I'm trying, I think, suits this kind of scene with the waves and the beach, and it's basically a horizontal sweep. I've got the camera set up on the tripod. I've got a 1-second exposure, and all I'm going to do is turn the camera sort of through the scene and then press the shutter button as I'm part way through, so that hopefully I get that sort of blurry motion going across. I don't know, we'll have to see if it works. It's quite a cool effect. I shoot at f/16 and 1 second. The reason I'm using the tripod is because I've got a horizon. I actually want to try and keep it level. Probably end up taking quite a few shots just to see if I get anything any good from it. So as I quite often do with these experiments, I'm just sharing the experience with you. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, hopefully some lessons to be learned. What I'm doing is playing around with the speed at which I'm moving the camera through that 1-second sweep. Sometimes I'm moving it not too much, sometimes moving it a lot faster and a lot further. And we'll just have to see, how that works when I get them back on the computer. it's getting quite a bit brighter now. I dropped in a 3-stop hard-edged ND grad upside down just to work as an overall ND filter to let me keep a longer exposure time. I've been playing around at between half a second and a second, adjusting aperture, etc. accordingly. I've taken a few shots and a couple of them look like they might be quite interesting. I wanted to play around with some vertical movement. The sun's coming up over there and I've come over to this little group of palm trees. I've still got a 3-stop grad on upside down to extend my exposure time. I've got 1 second, and what I'm going to try to do is just move the camera up as I'm shooting to try and get this sort of blurry, arty effect on it. Okay, blowing out a little bit. Maybe more like half a second, 0.6 of a second. Well, it's an effect. I'm not so sure how keen I am on it, but again, we'll see. The final one I'm going to try is the kind of figure of 8 effect. So I'm going to move the camera in a kind of figure of 8 pattern, not too much, and then press the shutter button while it's moving. Well, again, it's an effect. I'm not sure if I like it, but it's an effect. So what I've done, I've gone back onto the tripod. But the last thing I want to do is try shooting and zooming while I'm shooting. So I'm zoomed all the way out, so 11mm. I've got 2-second timer on. I'm going to hit the timer button, hit the shutter button, sorry. And then as the shutter releases, I'm going to twist the zoom control and just see if that does anything interesting. Okay, so shutter release, 2-second timer fires. not sure if I love it or hate it, to be honest. It's been a fun morning playing around with intentional camera movement. I quite liked some of the blurry shots I got down of the sea when I was shooting the horizontal movement. I'm not so sure about the vertical and the figure of 8 stuff that I've done, or the zooming effect, but I don't know. Until I get them back on the computer and process them a bit, I'm not really going to know for sure. Okay, I've had a chance to look at the images now. You've already seen them. Some of them were definitely more successful than others. I went through all of the shots that I took, and I took a few. The beach images, so the ones with the sand and the waves and the sky where I was doing a horizontal pan, they've actually come out pretty well, and I've tried to pick the best 4 from the selection that I had. The shots of the trees, not so much. The vertical movement one, I tried to find the best version of the examples that I took, but honestly I'm not entirely convinced it works. In fact, I know it doesn't work. The one where I was doing the figure of 8 movement, actually, I'm not sure about it. There is a certain appeal to it, but like all of the images that I shot of the trees, I think the mistake I made was concentrating so much on trying to get the movement right that I didn't think enough about composition, and I should have got a lot lower down to bring the trees up more above the horizon. And then we come on to the 2 zoom shots, and I'm not sure about them. There's something about them that's not bad, but they're certainly not great. Anyway, back to the other guy. I'm not entirely sure ICM is something I'm going to want to do on a regular basis. I've seen some very good ICM images, but I'm just not really sure it's for me, but it's always worth having a go. I'm going to pack up now, head for home, and see what these images look like on the computer. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a like, share it on social media, leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the images, about intentional camera movement. Is it something you like, something you hate? And well, if you've enjoyed this video and you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. As always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch, so thank you very much. And until the next video, bye.